Hello and welcome to a new edition of Bengal Magazine. My name's Jeff Ventura, sitting in for a traveling Tom Kohler this week. February on the calendar means our winter sports are heating up, coming down to crunch time. We'll talk with three of those teams today. We'll start with men's hockey coach Nick Carriere and junior forward Taylor McGraw. In our second segment, we'll talk women's hockey, head coach Rob Burke and senior forward/defenseman Tara Boliard. In our final segment, head swimming and diving coach Dan Allen brings along his senior, Kaitlin Mergler. When we come back, we'll talk men's hockey with Nick Carriere and Taylor McGraw. Welcome back. We're talking men's hockey with head coach Nick Carriere and junior forward from North Lawrence, New York, Taylor McGraw. Guys, welcome to the show. 22 games into the season already. Flies by in a blink. 3 games remaining in the regular season. Sitting in a good spot. Not necessarily the best spot, but 4th place. Season ends today. We've got a home playoff game. However, 3 points behind us, we would be out of a playoff spot with 3 to play. Talk a little bit about the season and how it's unfolded to this point.
I think it's been up and down for us. We've played well against some very strong teams and had some disappointments against some teams that we felt we could have had a better effort and a better execution. But here we are, and we're in a good spot, and we're really just trying to get our game where it needs to be. We've been trying to, one of the things that's been going on this year is we've been giving up goals around our net and around that prime scoring area, where most of the goals are scored in hockey in general. So we're trying to get that down, and I think we've been doing a little bit better job of playing a little bit tougher and in front of our net and being focused on boxing guys out and taking care of pucks in that area. And beyond that, our power plays and our special teams have been going pretty good. So we're just trying to get, kind of hit the ground running at the best time of the year, which is now.
Taylor, I want to talk to you a little bit about your season because obviously it's not what you envisioned it would be coming into the season. A serious injury in the first game against Penn State, a 3-0 victory for the Bengals, and then working your way back and finally made it back into the lineup Saturday and ho-hum scored the game-winning goal against Potsdam in a 3-2 win. Just talk about how this season has progressed for you, obviously being out of the lineup and working your way back, and describe the nature of the injury a little bit.
Yeah, it's been long. It's been a long winter. I've probably watched as much hockey almost as Coach here has, but arguably one of the biggest games in our school history, and second period, I'm almost missing the entire season as a result. But it was nice to get back on the ice finally. Throughout the year, peeking my head in the locker room, and a lot of the freshmen are joking around, "Who's this guy?" I was gone for that long, but. The injury, I separated my shoulder and strained a ligament in my chest, so 2 of my ribs were sticking out. Regardless of what I went through, or just as a result of that, missing hockey was pretty tough. But whether I show up later or now, it's nice to be back for any part of the season when you only have 4 years of college to enjoy what you have.
Now talk about coming back Saturday night, and again, the game-winning goal. Walk us through the goal a little bit and how'd that feel after being away for so long?
The goal was typical Bengal hockey, just possessing the puck down low. It was pretty much a 5-guy effort, and I happened to be the receiving end of the goal. It wasn't an individual play that I made, but it was just nice to contribute, and ended up being the game-winning goal, which was always nice to help out the team. But yeah. Coach,
talk about Taylor's presence out of the lineup this year, and what he's gone through to get back into the lineup.
You said it. It's tough. Geez, first game of the year, and it was an early game for us with only a few days of practice. And Taylor kind of carved out a spot for him, a niche for him at the end of last season, and then coming into this season for the things that he does well. He protects the puck well. He's got a nice savvy to him when he's got the puck in his stick, and defensively he takes care of things. So it was great to to finally get him back in, and he'd been kind of chomping at the bit a little bit, and after our Friday night game, we made a lineup change, and Taylor was the next guy to go in, and did a great job. And he was in on the game-tying goal as well. He made a nice play down low to get the puck to the net front, and Trevor took a couple of whacks at it and got it in. And then on the game winner was Trevor and his other North Country boy, Shane Avery. Shane passed him the puck from low and executed. So Taylor's he's a student of the game. When we talk about video, I can always look up at Taylor and I know that he's processing one way or another, and he's thinking about things, and he's always thinking before he speaks, and I think he contributes a lot that way, where he doesn't have to speak a lot, but when he does, guys listen.
Well, that's all the past now. 3 games to play in the regular season. Number 2 in the nation, Oswego on Friday. All these games are at home. Number 2 in the nation, Oswego on Friday, Cortland on Saturday, and Fredonia the following Friday. What needs to go our way, and what do we need to do to make sure that we're holding on to that 4th spot?
What do you think, Taylor?
I think we're stepping in the right direction based on the way things have been going. I think we find ourselves in a position that we've been in the past 2 seasons, 3rd or 4th place, battling, nothing secure. The final few games have always pretty much produced us getting into the playoffs or having a home game. And I think we've been together enough for 3 seasons, the majority of the team now, to the point where we have enough trust where there's no doubt in our minds that we're going to find a way to get it done.
I like that answer. I just wanted to see what he was going to say, but
What can you add? Coaching savvy, what do they need to do and what do you need to do to make sure they're ready?
I think we've had a good couple of days of practice this week, but through video, through just talking, putting guys in situations, it's when we execute our systems, when we play together, we're very effective against any opponent. And when we're worrying about us and not concerned about officials or outside factors that happen throughout the game, we execute our systems, we do the things that we talk about regularly doing, whether it's just getting pucks to the net or going to the net hard or making sure we're boxing out and being physical when we have to. We do those things. We're a very difficult team to play against, and we'll be rewarded with success.
Just a couple minutes left in this segment. We've got a couple of big events this weekend. The Student Life is putting on a big event. Again, number 2 Oswego coming into the arena on Friday. Moe's Southwest Grill sponsoring a Student Life event. The first 250 students to attend the game get a free Joey bag of donuts, a giant burrito. So hopefully we get a good crowd on Friday night. And then Saturday is alumni weekend and the alumni game in the afternoon. The alums at the game on Saturday night. Talk about what it means to have, I believe there's 30 of us coming back. I'm not really coming back. I haven't gone anywhere, but 29 people coming back to campus.
It's to me, it's exciting now. Having been here for this is my 8th season here. I'm finally getting to see. I think there's probably maybe half of the group that I coached and that graduated under me one way or another. So it's kind of nice to they're probably a few enough years removed where there's a little bit different relationship, and we can have some more fun with the guys. So it's fun to see them all around. It's great to have them at our game on Saturday night, and it'll be nice to spend some time and catch up with a lot of the guys and find out kind of where they're at.
Well, guys, 2 victories at minimum down the stretch here. Would love to see 3 and a first win against Oswego on Friday night. So thank you so much for joining us, and best of luck this weekend and then the following weekend as well. When we come back, we still got women's hockey and swimming and diving ahead on the show.
Thank you.
Hi everyone and welcome to Bengal Update. I'm Samantha Thomas with a recap of news and a look at upcoming events in Buffalo State athletics. A pair of Buffalo State athletes were honored by the SUNYAC this past week. Jasmine Dunham was named the SUNYAC Women's Track Runner of the Week after winning the 60-meter hurdles at the Brockport Invitational. Her time of 8.74 seconds broke her own school record and was the 3rd best time in the nation this season. Kaitlin Mergler was the SUNYAC Women's Swimmer of the Week after touching first in a pair of events in the dual meet against Geneseo. The lone Bengal to win an event, she claimed both the 50 and 100-yard freestyle events. It was a busy weekend at the sports complex as well, with both the men's and women's basketball teams posting victories over Oswego on Friday before falling to Cortland on Saturday. In the ice arena, the hockey team stayed in the thick of the playoff race with a 3-2 victory over Potsdam. Looking ahead to this weekend, the men's and women's hockey teams will both be home. The men host nationally ranked Oswego on Friday and Cortland on Saturday, both games at 7 p.m. The women's hockey team will also be home with a 2-game set against Utica at 4 p.m. on Saturday and at 2 p.m. on Sunday. Basketball and swimming will be in action on the road, and indoor track and field will compete at the prestigious Boston University Valentine Invitational. That's it for this week's Bengal Update. I'm Samantha Thomas. Now back to you, Jeff.
Thank you, Samantha. We're joined in this segment with our women's hockey coach, Robert Burke, and junior, senior forward defenseman Tara Boliard. Season's rolled along as well. We're coming down to it. 4 games remaining, 5 points out of the final ECAC West playoff spot. Right. Work's cut out for us, but it's in front of us too. We've got 2 games this weekend at home, the final 2 home games against Utica, and then 2 at Potsdam. Start first with the home games against Utica this weekend. Talk about what you're looking at heading into, a formidable opponent coming into our building.
Sure. Well, yeah, Utica had a strong outing last weekend against Plattsburgh. They tied them 3-3 the first day. They were pretty fortuitous. They had 2 goals on 3 shots in the second period up there, but they're always tough. But we're tougher in our building against them than we are in their building for some reason or another, and Dave knows that. We had a little discussion last week about scheduling and other things, so we were shooting the breeze. So he's going to be prepared, and we have to be equally prepared too, because as we've talked about with our players, Utica has a way of scoring in bunches, so we have to prevent that kind of thing from happening. So play a similar style to the way we played against Elmira on day 1, where we forced overtime there. So that's the game plan.
Talk a little bit about your guest, Tara Boliard. I mentioned junior, senior in her 3rd year with the Bengals, but graduating this spring. You've mentioned in advance of this show that she's listed as a forward, but she's played a lot of defense. Talk about the versatility and what she's brought to the team in her 3 years.
A lot of versatility. When she came to my attention through an email, initially I did some research on her because I had not seen her play. So her journey here was a little bit different than the classic freshman that you recruit. But found out that she'd played forward, but she was telling me on the phone she was a defenseman, so we just kind of took it in stride and really have had to use her in both roles. And because of that versatility, she's been able to fill in for players that are hurt, give us a bump up front when we need it, help us out on D when we need it. So that kind of flexibility and versatility has really been an advantage for us as a team. And we have several players like that, but for 3 years she's been back and forth, and that includes on and off the power play in terms of those 2 roles, forward and D.
Tara, talk a little bit about your path here from Canton, Michigan, Little Caesars product. Talk about your road to Buffalo State, why you chose Buffalo State, and what your career has been like for you.
I played Little Caesars up until I graduated high school, and with the traveling and everything, it was hard. So I took a year off, and after a year, I couldn't get off the ice 7 days a week. I was there, so with a little help from my mom, of course, I started checking out schools, different places, and ended up at Buff State.
And Coach talks about the number of roles that he's used you in, sometimes out of need and sometimes out of, obviously, your strengths and finding the best place to use you. Where do you like to play the best?
Oh, gosh. Am I allowed to answer that?
You can answer it.
I think I like forward, just because I can always keep going. I can just keep skating, and I can back check, just keep skating. But I feel
gritty around the net. Very gritty around the net.
Okay, that too.
Coach, talk about some of the things that have gone well this season. We've seen some balanced scoring, I think, more so than maybe in other years. Talk about some of the strengths of your roster this season.
Well, we did talk at the beginning of the school year, Jeff, about scoring and by committee, I should say. Although lately it's tapered off. We've just had, second semester in particular, just a rash of illness and injury that has just plagued our practice lineup every day, every week. Now that school's back in session, some people are missing practice 2 days a week, but it's been a lot of difficulty.
Graduating in the spring, Rob.
We always support the academic needs, but those things have plagued us in practice. But to our credit, the training staff has done a great job at getting people healthy by game day. Obviously the trade-off is they're not there all week, so it's a bit tough. But given that, we've played some really tough games. Adrian was number 10 coming in here in the second semester, and obviously they were very, very good, very, very, very physical. If you saw those games, we were using those non-conference games to help prepare us for our stretch drive with the ECAC West opponents that we had left. The UMass Boston split down there was a tough split. We felt we should have done no worse rather than a win and a tie down there, but started letting some soft goals in it as a team. Nick talked about the goals being scored around the net. He's trying to protect that area so well. It just seems like goals have been finding a way in that didn't find their way in the first semester. At the other end of the ice, we're not getting as fortuitous as we were in the first semester as well, so that's a tough equation to go into. However, then we have the Elmira game, like I mentioned, where number 3 ranked team in the country and we go in overtime with them, and unfortunately they beat us in overtime.
On a power play, we'll call it an iffy call.
That's right,
also.
Jeff.
Big weekend for you, obviously, with the Utica games, but it's also senior weekend. It's also alumni weekend for the women. Talk a little bit about Maddie's game on Saturday and where the name comes from and
Sure.
what that means to the program.
Well, sadly, the name comes out of a tragedy with the plane crash just a few years ago, just outside Buffalo. Maddie Loftus was coming to town for what at the time was called the alumni game, reunion game. So we immediately renamed that event after her in her honor. So that's been an annual event since I got here in 06-07, and it seems to have grown and flourished. And like Nick said in his segment, we're getting a little bit more youthful flair these last couple of years, and Coach Overbeck's in charge of that weekend, as you know. And she was looking at her list the other day, and she's she's jumping into a few drills to try to get in shape for this weekend. So.
Just about a minute left. Do you want to talk? You're graduating in the spring. We're here for academic first, and what is the plan beyond graduation for you?
I'm just going to do a master's program in marketing. There has been talk of doing it here just to get my last year of eligibility.
There you go.
But, I mean, other choices obviously would be places in Michigan, U of M as a hockey team. So.
And we were talking off camera, of course. If we recognize you senior day this weekend and give you flowers, you can keep the flowers and still come back and play next year. So you
just have to give the plaque
back. You don't have to worry about that, right?
No, you keep that.
Saturday, 4 p.m. against Utica in the Ice Arena. Sunday at 2 p.m. Utica in the Ice Arena. The alumni game is 11 a.m. on Saturday morning.
Right.
So that combined with all the men's events this weekend, the Ice Arena will be going all weekend, and there will be a lot of people there to check out the great action. I appreciate you coming on, and good luck these final 4 games of the regular season, and hopefully there's some more to play after that.
Appreciate it.
That'll do it for this segment. When we come back, we'll talk swimming and diving with head coach Dan Allen and Kaitlin Mergler. I'd like to point out our Tim Hortons Buffalo State Athlete of the Week this week. Women's track athlete Jasmine Dunham, junior health and wellness major, broke her own school record. She won the 60-meter hurdles at the Brockport Invitational. Her time, 8.74 seconds, the 3rd fastest time in Division III this season. 0.03 of a second shy of the fastest mark this year. Also ran a leg of the winning 4x4 100-meter relay and was second in the 60-meter dash. Jasmine Dunham, your Tim Hortons Buffalo State Athlete of the Week. We're joined now by head swimming and diving coach Dan Allen, senior from Amherst, New York, Kaitlin Mergler. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Jeff.
Again, February, especially when it comes to swimming, is championship season.
Yes.
We've talked in past years. Swimming is a little bit different than some of the team sports. The season's kind of a warm-up, and this is the time that matters the most.
Yes.
1 meet remains, Geneseo Invitational this weekend, and then a slightly later, February 21st to 23rd, SUNYAC Championships is kind of what it all comes down to. Talk about the progress of the team. Some really great things, especially on the women's side so far this season.
Yes, second semester has been going really well. Our women are right now are 4-4. They beat SUNY Oswego, which was a big victory for them. They haven't beaten Oswego, I think, in 14, 15 years. It's been a while. So that was nice. We went through some hard training in intercession. We had a grueling 3 weeks of intercession training. You can ask some of the kids; they were really pushed. Now we're in our final stretch of our meet season. We just had our senior meet at University of Buffalo. We had some really good times, some season best times. Kaitlin won her best time in the 50 free ever in season, and then we had the Geneseo Invitational, and I'm hoping that we can hit some times there.
Kaitlin, talk about your progress so far. A couple weeks ago, I was talking to Coach, and he said that you're really ahead of where you've been in past seasons, and you've done some great things in past seasons. So talk about how you feel right now and what your goals are heading into the championship season.
Well, I feel in the water, I feel good, but I've had a few weeks. I've been sick a lot this season, which is unexpected. I've never been sick this much, but right now I feel good. I have good, think like SUNYACs are going to be good this year. I have goals, making nationals this year. Last year I was 100th of a second off the cut time, and I didn't even know it until he told me. I was like, oh, well, I'll try next year. But
in your career, we'll start with the smaller goals first. A second, 3/3, and a 4th at SUNYACs in your first 3 seasons. Top finisher for Buffalo State swimmers each of those years. a number of school records as well. What would a SUNYAC title mean to kind of culminate your career?
It would mean a lot. Yeah.
And your specialty, 50 and 100, are really your two specialty events. Is there one that you lean toward as your stronger event?
I would say the 100 is my stronger event, but the 50 is what I'm hoping to be stronger this year.
Coach, talk about Kaitlin's career a little bit and how she's progressed to this point.
When I first coached her my first year, she was very versatile. She could do, sprinting, mid-distance, butterfly. She holds our school record in the 100 fly, holds our school record in the 200 IM. And over the years, you know what I mean, she's really stepped up and, to really change her sprinting. I know she was a good sprinter, but she went from just not being just a great sprinter, but being an elite sprinter. And take that next step, you have to do a lot. And I think she's at that point right now where I think she can take that next step and qualify for nationals. She has all the tools. This year we've added a lot. We added strength training and dryland training this year. And I can already tell she's a lot stronger from doing it. Our training, more rigorous training. We trained harder this year than we've ever trained. And, obviously with our pool situation, not having a home pool, we still trained, and we trained hard this year. And one of the things I'm looking forward to is resting. Other teams in the conference have, typically rest at the mid-season meet, or, maybe do a little rest, for a dual meet, but we haven't rested at all. And the way our team is performing right now, and we're in our home stretch, and we're hitting, season best and even lifetime best times with some of the people without, resting, it's really exciting right now. I'm really excited for our championships.
Again, 2 to 3 weeks until those SUNYAC championships. Talk about some others that we should be looking for to perform well at the championship meet.
One of the freshmen that's been, outstanding this year is Allison Kaczynski. She's been, really taking stride. It took her a little while to adjust to the training. First semester, she came in, out of shape, and but when she got the training under her belt, she's really exploded. This last weekend, she went 19:16 in the mile, and that's only about 30 seconds off her school record, and I think she can get it at come championships. I think she can score in 3 events at SUNYAC and push top 8, which is, as a freshman, is a big deal, very big deal. On the men's side, I think Kevin Sullivan, he has a potential to score in the 500 free and the mile. He was a freshman coming in. I think he's starting to hit his stride too. Just like Allison, he just took some time to get adjusted to the training. Now he's finally hitting his stride. And as far as upperclassmen, I think Sam Miner, obviously he holds our distance records. He's been looking great in practice, and I think he's he's ready to swim well. And then on the girls' side, Briggs Scalio, she had a personal best time in the 400 IM last week, and I think she's really hitting her stride now too.
A lot of exciting things, and championship season is always an exciting time anyways. Yeah. A senior, career is winding down, and hopefully it ends in Shenandoah, Texas, yeah, is where nationals are. So hopefully your collegiate career ends there. Swimming is a little bit different than some of the other sports in that there's still opportunities to compete beyond your collegiate career. Is that part of the plans, or is this the swan song down the stretch here?
Yeah, I think this was going to be it this year, and then I'll probably be done.
And what are the plans beyond graduation?
Well, I chose my major late, so I still have 2 more years of my major degree after this year, and then we'll go from there. And
figure it out.
Yeah.
Dan, we talk about the challenges of not having the pool this year, but you've figured out other creative ways to train harder than ever before. Going into a little bit of detail just about what you've had to do and how you've had to adapt, and it seems like it hasn't skipped a beat.
One of the things that we've done different in years past is, to be honest with you, is I expect more out of my athletes. I keep on reminding them. If we look at our past, SUNYAC championships, performance, you'll see that. We've broken 40 school records in the last 2 years, and always at the end of the year, I always try to peak our swimmers to hit their best times at the the last meet, not the middle of the meet. And I think every year they always they're always wowed by how fast they go at the end of the year.
I think there's no doubt we've seen a real culture change with the swimming and diving program. February 21st through 23rd, the Flickinger Aquatic Center, downtown Buffalo at ECC's campus. It's a great event, great atmosphere. If you have young swimmers and live in this area, I encourage you to go down there, especially for one of the evening championship sessions. You won't be disappointed. Best of luck to both of you, Kaitlin. Look forward to seeing you on top of the podium after maybe the 50 and the 100, and then sending you on your way to Texas. Again, good luck at the championship meet. Thanks for coming on. That'll do it for this edition of Bengal Magazine. Thanks as always to our great staff down here in Instructional Resources. We'll see you again in 2 weeks for another edition of Bengal Magazine.